Okay, this is Mike Dowling of BEARPOP Comics. I have an addition to this video. I'm not going to mess with it right now though. I wanted to get this out first. I am still trying to finish up my Image comic haul. No, I'm sorry, let's repeat that. I'm still trying to complete my independent comic or creators, how do they call it? Creator owner comics, you know, because I always say independence, but sometimes I can't say that anymore because the like big companies like Image and all that, you know, they've blown up, they're past that. But anyway, this is more of a Marvel haul. You'll see the video in the back of some of the past BEARPOP comic stuff I used to do, but this is a recent Marvel comic haul, predominantly Marvel comics, I should say. And I have to thank my buddy John, the comic guy, because a lot of these I picked up from him. So let's get started. I wanted to get into more Moon Knight. I think the last video I had some post of some Moon Knight like books I wanted to collect. Now I don't have them in this collection yet. I might. I think I do. I think he found some. I have to go back, and this may be one of them. So this is Moon Knight limited series 1 of 4. This came out in the 90s, maybe the mid to late 90s. I'm not sure, but I always had this one. I never had the other ones that connect to this. So this is 1 to 4. So this is the limited series number 1. My man happened to hook me up with number 2. So it's 2 of 4. I'm trying to see who this artist is. I don't know if it's Munch or Edwards. I'm not quite sure. But it's very different, like art style. Almost looks like painted. You know, it's like a comic book. You see the action, but it's not like your average comic book style. More looks like a airbrush. I mean, not airbrush, a brush comic style. So that's 2 of 4 of the limited series of Moon Knight. We have 3 of 4. I haven't read any of this yet. I skimmed through it, and I didn't want to read that first issue until I got the rest of these. So I may pick up a graphic novel of it if I decide not to sell these. You know, I don't know yet, because right now I'm not really selling too much. So we have Moon Knight 3 of 4, and we have 4 of 4. This limited series that came out in the 90s. So I'm going to move on to that. Let's slide this over because I don't want you guys to get too confused with what's going on in the background, because these are the focus books. So, you know, that's just background imaging. Okay, so we have a whole nother series from Moon Knight that started in the 90s too. I have to collect more of these. This is number 14. I always find these sporadically, but I got this from John the Comic Guy too. So this is Mark Spector Moon Knight number 14. And then on the back, this is the earlier run of Moon Knight. This is when, you know, like 81. It came out, I want to say 80. So, you know, I want to get the earlier publications of them also. So we have some more Moon Knight. This is more recent. This is probably, I'm going to just take a guess. This might be 2009, maybe 2010, you know. So this is 189 Moon Knight, 192, and that's enough for Moon Knight right now. So we go to another one of my favorite characters, the Wolverine, and this cover is just outstanding. I wish I could tell you who did it. I don't want to open it up because I got other books to go through, but we have Wolverine 035. So this had to be, excuse the yawn, it's been a long day. This had to be in the mid 2000s, which we're entering now, because they started putting that 0 number in there in the beginning. And anyway, now this was the Wolverine cover that I really like. If you guys remember a couple of videos ago, I showed you a graphic novel that I had called the X Lives of Wolverine, and it's like X Lives of Wolverine, X Deaths of Wolverine, something like that. So it's from that graphic novel. It has this issue in there, but I do not have this variant cover. I picked this up from John, and this is a very handsome cover. If you can see clearly, there's a lot of good stuff happening on here. So you got Wolverine, you got Maverick, and Sabretooth. I don't know who this artist is, but he's very good, or she's very good. So I jumped it when I seen this. I said, oh, I got to have that. Another one I was looking for, The Death of Wolverine, Wolverine and the X-Men. And this is kind of a homage to one of the X-Men titles. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Fall of the Mutants. Kind of reminds me of that, which was out in, I think, the late 80s or whatever. So, yeah, I like this one. I like the cover, the whole composition, the shadows and the X-Men in the background, inside the shadow, him walking in the sunset. Very creative. This is about just, sometimes I get into stuff with just great covers, I love, covers will make you buy a book. Sometimes it'll take you a long time to read the book, but the cover will stand out and you just want to have it. So, now that's enough of my John the Comic Guy haul. Now we're going into some stuff I grabbed at Ollie's in a pack. So this is the Vigil from DC Comics #2. A lot of people raved about this book, said it was really good. I want to find #1. So I'm looking for #1, #2. Like, I want to get a nice run of this set here. I'll probably get a graphic novel, but right now I'm happy to have this. So it's the Vigil #2. I always brag on my boys over at Valiant. Bloodshot USA issue #1, which is a different series of Bloodshot. Amazing cover, real cool. And now this was a surprise for me, because I showed you guys this book before, Ghost Machine. This is the beginning of a new writer-creator title under Image, and I've talked about this book before because it introduces the book I like, Rook Exodus, which they have new issues out now. I've been online trying to find them, but it's tough because without a comic shop, you gotta wait till you turn up on them. But anyway, I got another issue of Ghost Machine #1, which is I think is that Dire Wraith? I'm not sure. From Rook, the Rook series is Red Coat, and another series that they say is really good, Geiger. So this was the premiere of these characters under the Ghost Machine title. So I'm holding on to these because these are, all the books I just showed you are in mint condition. They're, very good condition. It might have been one in there that was fair, which was the Moon Knight issue, the earlier Moon Knight issue. I'm trying to go back to that so you guys could see it. But for any rate, all these were very good to very fine and mint condition. So was this one. So this is funny. Ninjak, another Valiant character. This is a variant cover, so they got a cat. Somebody dressed a cat in a ninja suit. Could be worth something one day, I don't know, but I decided to hold on to it because I have the original 22, and this is the variant cover. And this is another thing that came from Ollie's. Rick and Morty from Omni Press number 58. Okay. Something interesting to have. It popped up in the collection. So let's slide this in the back. Let's pay a little attention to what we have over here. Now, this is an Ollie's run here. Let me slide these back. It's more Ollie's stuff. Get it in position so you guys can see it. Okay. We'll take this off here. Let's go to putting up some of these nice books here. Alright, so we have Shang-Chi. Well, you know what, let's get to Shang-Chi later. Let's focus on what's over here. I like how that's presented. We have Punchline, the trial of Alexis K. Punchline was a supporting character in Batman. If I'm trying to make sure I'm correct. Supposed to be like the daughter of the Joker or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But she's like rival to Harley Quinn. So always found her kind of interesting. I had some books that first introduced her. I might have sold them, so I'm on a hunt for looking for those again also. Okay, so we move this over to the side. Now we get to Shang-Chi. So we have Shang-Chi. Now I'm a Shang-Chi collector from the 70s. I have a graphic novel of his books back in the 70s upstairs, and I do have some Shang-Chi. I was a little skeptical about Shang-Chi when he first came out. He used to be called Shang-Chi Master Kung Fu. So I was a little skeptical, but I started reading the book, and the book was actually very good. It's a new takeoff on Shang-Chi. Made him younger, and it's a little bit more towards the audience now. So, you know, the art is very good, you know, and I think it's going to be a good read. So we'll move that over to here. Now, this series that was out, when it came out, I could never get the full run. I would always get maybe number 1, number 4, because that's when I used to go to the dollar store and try to find it. So I stumbled on this at OLLIES too. Avengers X-Men Axis. And I think what happens is, well, from what I read from the synopsis, the Red Skull gets the power somehow of that villain, what's he called? When Charles Xavier and Magneto teamed up together, and he became, let's look on the back. So that way I'm not guessing. Let's look on the back. Let's read it for a little bit. So what happens is the Red Skull harnesses the power of Charles Xavier's brain, and who else? And Magneto's power. So he becomes the new Onslaught. That's what I was trying to think of. So he turns into the Red Onslaught. So they took the whole Onslaught thing, which was a series crossover event in the X-Men, and they take it to where the Red Skull has the powers in there. And it's a lot of great artists in here, you know, a lot of good action. I wanted to read the whole event in one shot. And this is where I kind of appreciate the graphic novels, because when you get into trying to collect the single issues, and if you're a grown adult and you don't spend all your time in the comic shop, you can't get all those books. So I was happy to get this. This was nice. This book here, this was, I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. The Flash, Volume 7, Savage World. You know, honestly, I'm not a big Flash reader. I did like the show. The art is not bad. The storyline, I would have to get the other volumes to tell you if I really like it, because I tried to jump in. There's too much going on, and it's hard for me to really get into it because I don't know all of what's happening. I know Vandal Savage is in it, which he was featured on the cartoon. I mean, not the cartoon, the live action series. But it's not bad. I may let it go, like sell it, or I may wait and collect the other volumes. I'm not quite sure. And in the pile, I wound up running into this book here. And I got this book a long time ago. But I never showed it off, I don't think. If I did, I just don't remember of it. I have memory of it. The Incredible Hulk. This is from the 2000s, the Fall of the Hulk series. So this was a good book. It was a good book, and I wound up picking it up. I just figured I'd show it off. Without going on any further, This is an Image comic book. I'm trying to find out what number it is. 21. It's cover A, Peter Pans and Faust. Can't say I read it. Can't say I read it. I know this got some good reviews too. Probably a good story. I will probably get a trade paperback if I get into this book, because it's going to be too hard to just run around and try to find it. Excuse me, I'm adjusting this camera angle because I like outside better, but in here it's just a pain. I don't really like taping in the studio. Here is another early Image character called, it was a Top Cow Image, Aphrodite. I don't know my room in them rooms, so Aphrodite something over there. She's very prolifically drawn. I had issue 1. It was a eye grabber for males, but I sold that quickly. And that one I just showed you was 3. I believe this may be, what is it, 4. So just grabbed it because it was Image and I like Image. And I told you one in the last video, I like covers. Covers, they'll grab me. If a cover is hot, I'm usually grabbing the book. Which brings me to these ones here. What is this here? It's called 21, number 1. This looks like something from the early 90s, but I like the graphics. So bear with me. I'm going to open this up. We are going to go inside and see what's in this stack. I had them all packed up like this because when I had my comic shop online with eBay, I used to sell this stuff in bulk. A lot of this stuff I didn't even sell because I got to the point where the shipping fees were just too much for the customers, and I didn't want to do it. Okay, so this is number 1 of 21. You know, you can see the robotic stuff in the background. That's what I liked. It grabbed me right in the back with that. What do I got on here? Let's put it on here. Let's put it on here. I got to put it all back in the pack anyway. We have, let's go in the middle because I believe number 3 was in the middle. Number 2 rather. Number 2 of 21. Don't ask me what it's about. I've only skimmed through it. I'm finally, because I'm retired now, so I can, besides making music, which I love doing, probably get a chance to read all these books, because I couldn't read this stuff when I was working and being a full-time musician for the church and then producing music. I didn't have time. Okay, and this is 21, number 3. Interesting covers. I just liked it. Make sure you guys see the title and everything. Once again, I apologize for the camera angle because it's not what I'm used to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep moving on, but this will be a video. Okay, we got, what is this called? Jim Lee's C23. Oh, they were getting a lot into numbers in the early 90s, or late 90s going into the 2000s. Another sci-fi based thing. Very interesting art on the front. You see this, Jim Lee doing his thing. What do I have coming up next? Haunt You to the End. Don't know, but I only could find issue 5. I may find a trade paperback because I'm not looking all over the place for that. Anyway, so the last issue, I'm saying I like me in a comic book. Last BEARPOP comic video that was talking about Image, I showed this character off here, and this was just a single issue. I probably grabbed this before I grabbed the trade paperback, Lazarus, and it's a futuristic book, futuristic utopia. She's some type of bounty hunter or something like that. And this was also slated to get a series. Don't know yet, but if I get it and I put it aside and the book blows up, I have the graphic novel, but I have the single issues. That's why I get them, because I'll flip the singles and keep the trade paperback. And this was Lazarus, gosh, number 8. I think the other one in front was number 6. So number 7 is probably in the middle. Yeah, I believe that's number 7. I'm just gonna pull it out halfway because it's a lot of stuff to be putting back. Okay, I'm not gonna show each cover of this. If I can help it. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I could not get the complete set of these. I just couldn't find it. This is a crime noir type story in a modern sense. This is number 8. This was a good story from Image. Rick Remender. Whenever you hear that name, he's a good writer, good comic book writer. He gets a little weird sometimes. And I have to say reference to that if you ever pick up Deadly Class. Rick Remender goes out of the lines with stuff, but he's a good writer. So this is a Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. Excuse me. This is another book that I'll get in trade paperback because I'm not going to run around and try to find these single issues. It's too hard. This would be number 5, and this is number 4. They're all over the place. I just grabbed them when I went in the shop. I would grab like a big stack of books that caught my eye. I would get the General Marvel, DC, and then I would start grabbing some indie books in between. You know, some of them even came from OLLIES in packs. This is another Image title, The Dead Lucky. The cover looks very cool. I have no idea what it's about. It's just like the title. How you gonna Dead Lucky? I don't know, but cool looking cover. Now this series here was really, really big. I could never find the rest of these 8 million genies. 8 million genies. It was really big comic series from Image in the 2000s. And every time you went in the store, it was sold out. You go online, it was a whole bunch of money. I don't know. But I generally will move to buying a graphic novel of this and reading what it's about. This is 7 of 8. You ain't going to see any more single issues of this because I cannot find them. And I'm not going to go online and try to find single issues and pay almost $10 or more for them and then pay shipping. I won't do that. Another Rick Remender and Jerome Appiah book. This was very popular. 7 to Eternity. This is another sci-fi action thriller. These are all so hard to find. I was blessed to stumble on this. I didn't even know like it was in the long box. So this was number 8. I'm just going to get the graphic novel probably. I'm not going to try to find it. So I covered this part of my Image collection before too. Which I did read this, Ain't No Grave. And I told you I'm not really that big in Westerns, but if it's done well, I like this. So this is Western mixed with supernatural. She's a gunslinger that's got a vendetta with death, and so she's trying to take out death in this book. And Scotty Young did this cover, so that's another one of my favorites. Scotty Young is off the chain. He doesn't. I like those artists that go out of the rules of what you generally see in art. And he plays around with some anatomy and does some things, but he makes it look cool, you know. So big ups to Scotty Young. This was issue number 1. I have a bunch of these. I have a variant of this in black and white. This was another Image comic book here, Storm Dogs. I just like the cover. This is number 1. I just like the cover. The sci-fi basic. You're probably going to wind up seeing this stuff pop up on Netflix or one of those apps, and you remember I said it here. So that's my next collection, next part of the Image collection. BearPopMusic.com.